way back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how I survived my first 2 years of medical school. It was definitely a little bit difficult, but today I'm going to give you some tips, tricks, and a little bit more on how to get through your first 2 years of medical school. Now, I did have some bumps along the way and I learned a lot, but hopefully you'll learn from my mistakes and you will be better than I was. So before we get started, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any videos. And feel free to comment. And if you want to go ahead and shoot me an email, I'll be leaving my email address in the description box below. Let's go ahead and jump right into the video. So the first thing I want to let you guys know is what may be good for me might not be good for you. And likewise, what may be good for you might not be good for me. That is a valuable lesson that I learned my first semester of medical school. I was so busy looking at what everyone else was doing, how everyone else was studying, and I wasn't paying attention, trying to learn nor understand my specific learning style, and that is very important. All right, so you have different types of learning styles. You have people who like to use flashcards like myself, which I find it to be extremely beneficial. People who like to read, people who like to do interactive games. So there's many different types of learning styles, okay? But I'll get into that a little bit later. But the first thing I want to talk about are the different classes. I'm not going to go through each class, but I'm going to hit like the most important classes like anatomy, pharm, path, things of that nature, and how I studied for them and what I did. So for anatomy, there were two very important resources that I used. The first one was the University of Michigan's Gross Anatomy website. I'm going to put their website in the description box below. This website, they have all different types of sections, respiratory, they have reproductive, nephrology, every section that you want to, that you will be covering in medical school and in anatomy. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the page, what it looks like. What you're going to see when you first get on the website is you're going to see a section where it's like your first year medical school, first year dental school, so on and so on. I will click onto the first year of medical anatomy, and you, like I said, you have different sections here. So for the purposes of just showing you guys how this works, I'm going to click on this right here, and it'll take you onto a different page where you'll see your learning objectives, lab links, blue links, practice questions, list of structures, quiz links. So, once you get done studying or to help you study, you can go here and do some practice questions. This quiz, the quiz links basically shows you, for example, different pictures, and the sections are kind of like blotted out, and so you'll have to identify what section of that bone or that organ it is or what it does. So definitely go and check that out. Okay, the other thing that I used was Gray's Atlas of Anatomy. I'm going to also put that in the description box below, the link for that. Please go ahead and get that book. Very informative. There was a question bank book that I had. I don't know if it was for Gray's. If I can find it, I'll put that in the description box below as well. So those two things, very important. Please check it out. It will help you. It helped me. All right, so moving on, histology. Very important. You will need it on your step 1. And it's very important that you are able to identify different cellular structures, their functions, and you want to be able to quickly identify it, okay? So the textbook that I used was a Histology Text and Atlas. You can get it off Amazon. Again, I'll also put that in the link for that in the description box below. This book helps you quickly identify the structures found within a cell. It doesn't matter what cell they're talking about, any cell, and how to identify them, what is their function, what is their color, how you can differentiate between something that might be similar. Moving on to physiology. All right, so I know that may be a difficult subject for a lot of people. So it's very important that you do master physiology because it is all in step one, in your step one exam, okay? So the book that I used was Costanzo's Board Review, 6th edition. Also, if you have access to Kaplan, I would say that it's, if you don't have it, get it. If you already have it, great. Utilize it. It definitely helped me when it came to physiology. Okay, so go ahead and go through your Kaplan material, look at the videos, look at the PowerPoints, answer the questions, so you can go ahead and ace all of your exams. So, microbiology. I don't really have a specific textbook to recommend, so I would go with whatever your school is telling you to get. However, I would recommend Sketchy Micro. Sketchy anything. I use Sketchy Path, Micro, and Pharm. I'm very much a visual learner, and if you are a visual learner, I would 110% recommend that resource, okay? It is a little bit pricey, but it is worth the money, and you will remember the material when it comes down to exam day. So go ahead and get Sketchy Micro. It is a well-made investment. And how I use Sketchy Micro, I'm going to go ahead and put the video up here showing you how I used it. Basically, what I did was I took the picture and I wrote on, if you have an iPad, I wrote on the actual picture as I was learning the video, as I saw it playing on my computer. All right, so I did that for all of Sketchy Micro, Path, and Pharm. Definitely, you may not like doing it my way. Try. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, try and figure out another way. But if you are a visual learner, please, 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 at least check out Sketchy. All right, Pathology. The book that I use, that I live and die by, is Fundamentals of Pathology. It comes with a CD and a book. So if you just get it off Amazon, you'll just get the book and the CD, but you won't necessarily get the online subscription. I would just go ahead and get the online subscription. They'll automatically send you a book with the CD. I do actually, this one, I wrote all in. I definitely would recommend getting this. It was very helpful for me. Must have for step one. When it is time for you to take step one, I would say you need to know chapter 1 through 3 cold, like the back of your hand. You need to be able to sleep and recite chapter 1 through 3. Okay, it would definitely help you, and that's for step 1. All right, so moving on to pharmacology. I really didn't like the books for pharmacology. You might want to check out the McGraw-Hill's The Basic Clinical Pharmacology book. I believe it's the 14th edition. I did kind of skim through it, but not really. Again, I mostly use Sketchy Pharm because I was able to visualize the videos and the pictures when it came time for the exam. But if you want to get an in-depth understanding of the mechanism of actions, definitely check out that book. It might help you. So those are all the recommendations that I have for the classes that I took during my first 2 years of medical school. Again, I did not go through all the classes. I just hit the top ones that I thought were important, and the ones that I felt like I had some solid resources to give you guys that definitely helped me. Also, another thing that I think is a must-have is first aid book. I know mine is very raggedy. I took my step already, so I went through all these pages repeatedly, so it's a little bit raggedy over here. But I recommend get the 2020 version, of course, the newest version. I did annotate throughout the entire book, and it's very beneficial. Again, I'll put the link in the description box below so you can go ahead and purchase that. Must have in medical school. Another book that I also used was the First Aid Q&A. I didn't use it as much until it was time for me to take my Step 1 exam, but they have wonderful questions all throughout the book. The pictures aren't that great, but black and white pictures, but it gets the job done. And then when you get each section has like 50 questions, 40 to 50 questions, and when you get finished, they have an explanation, in detail explanation, why your answer was right and why the other ones were wrong. Okay, so very good book. I wish I had used it sooner. So hopefully you can learn from my mistake and go ahead and get that and start to utilize it yourself. All right, guys, so the last thing I want to talk about is how I studied. At the beginning of this video, I made a comment about how, I was looking at everyone else and how they studied, and I tried to study like them, and that wasn't beneficial for me because I didn't understand at the time that I needed to tailor my studying to my learning style, okay? And when I first started, I was just reading the textbooks, reading the PowerPoints, just reading, and I found myself just rereading the information a million times, but it wasn't necessarily sticking. Something that I did that helped me was doing flashcards. And I know this is very thick. I actually have like an entire bag of flashcards that I have collected over the past 2 years, but it definitely helped. Now, a lot of people like to use Quizlet, and I believe there's a desktop version. I think it's called Anki. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but oh well. I don't use it. But yeah, me personally, I like to actually fill the card, go through the card. I like to physically write on the card. That helps me learn. But again, flashcards in general are good. Quizlet, I believe it allows you to make a game out of it, so that can be beneficial for some if that's what you like. So please go ahead and try out multiple ways to do flashcards. I would definitely recommend that everyone at least try it because you might actually love it, okay? So whether it's writing it out like I do, or going online so you don't have, all this to carry around, just please try it. Let me know if it's worked for you or not. So please leave a comment down below. Let me know how you learn, how you study. Help me help someone else, all right? So the last thing I want to comment on is questions. Please, please, please make sure you do questions. Do all the questions you can, and when you think you can't do any more questions, do more questions. That definitely helped me. You don't know what you don't know until you see you don't know it, if that makes sense. Basically, once you do the question and you get it wrong, you know that you don't know that information. So you can go back and study it, you can read the explanations, and 9 times out of 10 you won't get that question wrong again, because we always remember the questions that we get wrong. We never remember the questions that we get right. I don't know why that is, but that's something that I've learned, so I'm going to go ahead and pass that knowledge to you. All right, you guys, so this concludes my video. Thank you for watching. If you watched to the end, please go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend about this video if they're in medical school, someone else who is just starting, maybe close to finishing or in the middle. It doesn't matter. If you think this video will help someone, please go ahead and send it along. And if you have any questions, anything that I did not comment on in this video, please feel free to leave a comment down below or email me personally. All right, see you guys later.